The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 45 of the Daily Mother Swole. Today, I want to discuss the best ab exercises that you can do to strengthen your core and why they are the best. So many times I hear, I do 500 crunches a night. I do all this X, Y, and Z. I do all this fancy schmancy ab exercises, but I still have body fat, and I still don't have the abdominals that I want. First off, some of you already know this, that your abdominals, you have them. Everyone has abs, everyone has abdominal muscles, but can you see them, or are they hidden under layers of subcutaneous body fat? Now, there is fat in between the muscle tissue. There's also, that's intramuscular fat, and there's also fat on top of the muscle, and that's underneath the skin. It's called subcutaneous fat. Cutaneous meaning skin, and then sub underneath, so there's fat underneath the skin. Now, that is for protection, that's for warmth, that's for vitamin storage and mineral storage, but at the same time, we prefer to see the muscles and the abdominals in the midsection. And in all honesty, you could have ripped arms, ripped shoulders, ripped legs, but if you have, junk on your stomach, it just makes you look less powerful, makes you look soft. So that hard look just looks powerful. Those ancient Greek statues and Michelangelo's paintings and all these things show carved abdominals, and that's always been an element of just strong power because it comes from the core, it comes from the base, it comes from where we generate all our strength, upper and lower body, our locomotion. That's where we get a lot of our rotation and our ability to provide force and to do farming, to kill an animal, like when we're hunting, sexually. It's all in the hips, it's all in the core, it's all in the midsection. So that's why on an evolutionary level, it looks powerful, and that's why we like it, that's why we want it. So what exercises are best for the core? In reality, if you should not be worrying so much about the six pack. First off, one of the most important reasons to work the core is to protect the lower back. Now, the lower back is at the base of the core. The base of the core is actually the hips and the pelvis. The lower back branches off of the hips and the pelvis, and that branching off makes it susceptible to injury if the hips are out of line, which is why I always talk about corrective exercise, activating the gluteal muscles, the gluteus medius and the maximus, stabilizing the pelvis. I have exercise videos on my channel, Swolenormous.com, that talk about the supine hip bridge and the single leg squat, which activate those muscles. But that being the case, there's also muscles around the base of the spine, which is also part of the core, that are more responsible for preventing lower back injury than actually the six pack themselves. So the rectus abdominis, those muscles that provide the blocky square look, those can actually cause more pain in our lower back than benefit. Strengthening those muscles actually means flexing the spine, rounding the back, which is okay, but if the following muscle is weak, then you still are susceptible for lower back injury, and maybe even more so because the rectus abdominis will be providing constant tension, flexing the spine forward. And that muscle is the transverse abdominis. So what I want you to do, whether you're sitting in a chair, whether you're standing up, whether you're in the car, watching me, wherever you're watching me right now, I want you to suck your stomach in. I want you to take your belly button and suck it in towards your spine as hard as you can. You just contracted your transverse abdominis. Your transverse abdominis is the natural belt in the body. This is one of the reasons why it's not good to wear a weightlifting belt on a regular basis, because it weakens this muscle. This muscle attaches to the base of the lower spine, wraps around the waist, and provides that natural belt and that natural support. This is the main muscle that prevents lower back injury. If this muscle is weak, you're very susceptible for lower back injury, herniated discs, tweaks, torques, all those different types of things. So sucking the stomach in, even sitting down in a chair, standing up at the post office, at the supermarket, waiting in line, sucking your stomach, period, is working that muscle. So you can do this while you're sitting at work, while you're, like I said, in the car, at the supermarket, at the gas station, wherever you are, you can suck your stomach in and activate those core muscles. What you need to start doing is drawing in maneuver, sucking the stomach in during all your exercises. For example, the plank, the prone iso ab, especially on on my YouTube channel, we talk about the prone iso ab, sucking in the stomach, posteriorly tilting the pelvis. Suck the stomach in, activate the transverse abdominis, and keep the spine strong. Got a great question on Periscope. Should you suck it in while running? Now, there's a lot of debate about the sucking in or bracing. Now, sucking in meaning drawing in, or bracing meaning squeezing. Now, bracing is going to tighten up musculature that can limit mobility. Sucking it in, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to actively suck it in while you're running. If you're running for performance because you're going to have certain form, this is the kind of thing that when you're doing running training, it depends on how seriously you take your running. If you just kind of like, jog in place, then go and start running, this principle might not help you at all because that's really not how you're supposed to do it. If you're doing running training, running form, and you actually take a training scientific approach to your form and take it seriously, this is something that's done in training. Like we do high knees or actually running form and technical training. You could draw your stomach in. You do this during your plank movements. You do this during your dynamic movements like your weight training and your actual running training for gait training. Meaning like if you're doing like high knee, ball of your toe, like high knee sprints on a track or something like that. So then once you start running, once you start your actual activity, you can keep it drawn in, but I wouldn't focus too much on pulling it all the way in because you could affect your dynamic posture for your running and start affecting your heel strike or your foot strike, whether you do, moderate midfoot strike or balls of the feet, whether you do barefoot running and so forth. So you definitely want to strengthen these muscles and you want to make sure they're strengthened all the time. So I would be aware of them. I would start pulling them in, but don't focus so much on them as to the point where it'll affect your running form. One of the things with running or with an activity is once you start doing the activity, you want to go into that flow state. So all these guys that play baseball, they react and they hit the ball, or in basketball, like for example, since the Game 7 was last night when the Cavs won, these guys take so many freaking foul shots. When they're there, they're not even there. They're zoned out. They just go through the motion. They've done like 100,000 free throws. It's automatic. So when you're running, you want it to be automatic. You don't want to have to think about, okay, run on the heel, drive my arm through. You're not worrying about the technical form. You should have already practiced that. So when you run, you can just do it and focus and move freely. If you're focusing like a baseball player, he's not focusing on, okay, I'm going to step, I'm going to transfer the weight from my heel, I'm going to transfer the arm, I'm going to suck the stomach in, pivot the hips, squeeze the glutes, and turn my hand over. They're not thinking about step by step. They see the ball, they react because they spent time working on top hand drills, working on only with the hips with a band tied around them to a wall. They've done the technical pieces, and then when they put it all together in their training, when they get to the game, they get to the performance, they just react and it's done properly. So your running should be technical. So then when you're actually out there running, you don't have to think about actively drawing in your stomach. You already are because it's activated, it's tight, and you've taught your body to activate those muscles naturally in your training. Does that answer your question? Now, it's a really good question. That's like, it has to do with flow state and performance. And that's, a lot of, that comes down with the training. We talk about training. We talk about doing things a certain way for a certain result. And that's what that is. So when it comes into the prone iso ab, the plank on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Swolenormous, sucking in the stomach, squeezing the glutes will neutralize the pelvis and will activate the transverse abdominis, the muscle on the inside. Prone iso ab, absolutely essential for the plank, and they'll activate the transverse abdominis. Another great exercise, the reverse crunch. I'm going to be posting an exercise on that soon, but the reverse crunch is done when you're lying on your back and you're grabbing something up behind your head. And a lot of people do this as like kind of like a hip pop, but when you're actually rolling, you're kind of just rolling the hips, rolling the pelvis up about a couple inches with the stomach sucked in and engaged while you're drawing a maneuver, and you're just lowering the pelvis back down and rolling the lower spine up. So you're kind of doing, it's like a crunch. It's like you're lying on your back and just bringing your shoulders up off the ground. But in this position, you're on your back with your back flat, just rolling the hips up off the ground. And it's not a hip pop, it's not swing, it's not momentum, it's isolated, controlled movement because the spine actually has very limited rounding capacity. So going legs all the way up and lifting your butt all the way up in the air or doing a full-blown sit-up actually takes pressure off your abs, more on your back, more on your hip flexors, and is more or less a useless exercise for the midsection. Okay, there's certain applications for it, but not if you want a six-pack, not if you want strong core. That's not what you want to do. My last two exercises that I really love are the hanging leg raise or knee raise, which you can do on a device, one of those like little Roman chair type things where you hold and your elbows are on pads and your legs are hanging. You can bring your legs up straight, relax your knees because some people have tight hamstrings and their rounds are lower back, or bring your knees up strong towards your chest, hold for 2 seconds and lower slowly, all the while sucking in your stomach. That's really good for activation, and also the ball crunch, the supine ball crunch when done properly. All those exercises, those last 3, reverse, hanging leg raise, and the supine ball crunch will all be exercises that will be added to exercise playlists and gone into more depth in Swolenormous Premium, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in a couple seconds, okay? So abdominal exercises strengthening the core. It's not doing 500 sit-ups. It's doing a nice controlled tempo, sucking in the stomach, squeezing at full contraction, and sucking in the stomach and squeezing the glutes all the way down for your crunches, for your reverse crunches, drawing the navel in. It's very hard to do these movements while sucking the stomach in, and that's just because of the coordination. Neuromuscular coordination, your brain's communication with the muscles, is very shaky. It's like riding a bike. Your body doesn't have that proper balance and that proper synergy yet, but it will. And that's why it's going to feel awkward sucking in your stomach while you're doing your sit-ups, while you're doing your ball crunch, while you're doing your reverse crunch, while you're doing your hanging leg raise, but drawing in that navel will teach your body that during movement, when you're activating the rectus abdominis, when you're activating the midsection, when you're activating these muscles, that the transverse abdominis needs to fire. And once you have that, guess what's going to happen? Your stomach will flatten. And the reason for that is your natural belt, the muscle, the transverse abdominis, that when it engaged, when contracted, sucks the stomach in and flattens it, will be more tight on a regular basis. It's like having cement around a pole as opposed to sand. It's going to lock in, tighten around your organs, create a better base and a better hard protective surrounding around your lower spine. It'll protect your lower back. It's going to pull your stomach in at rest more, so you don't have to suck your stomach in. You don't have that bubble gut. It'll give you more of a flat stomach in appearance. And then with your diet, nutrition, and total body strength training, you will burn the fat on top and you will be able to see your abs. So you can work your rectus abdominis, but that flat look, that washboard doesn't happen with a round stomach. I've seen people with abs with a distended stomach. Okay, just because you want that muscle to be tight so your stomach are just drawn in. One, to prevent injury, because 90% of the population has a lower back injury at least once in their lifetime. That's pretty much everyone. At least 90%. That's a statistic. That's pretty much everyone. Okay, so most of you watching, 90% of you have had a lower back injury at least once. At least once. Because most of the time people have compensations and issues that recur and they don't fix the problem to begin with. Okay, another reason to sign up for Swolenormous Premium is because we're going to go over a lot in depth of corrective exercise and case studies, because each of you are going to have your own situation and we're going to delve into each one and attack. So let me get into that a little bit more right now. So core training, or best exercise for abs, are the ones that are done slow tempo, sucking the stomach in, drawing the navel in the whole time, and holding at full contraction for 1 to 2 seconds and slowly on the eccentric, slow lowering on the eccentric. Say that again on Periscope. I lost that question. So again, for those of you that are just joining, on my website, Swolenormous.com, sign up for Premium. You'll get direct access to my private, secret Facebook page. Premium is a monthly subscription for $4.99. $4.99 a month. Okay, you try getting that Swole on Netflix. You go to McDonald's, you're going to pay twice as much. Okay, $4.99 for access to exclusive videos. You'll get immediate access, downloadable, my ebook, the 7 Pillars of Swolenormous, and you'll get all the breakdown, the basics. And what you're going to get accountability. You're going to get a community of like-minded individuals. So you can get a lot of professionals, a lot of people that are in your situation that are going to have solutions, that are going to have answers, that are going to have ideas, that are going to have suggestions on top of all the information that I'm going to provide. So I'm going to be providing private, exclusive videos just in that Facebook page. And like I was telling people earlier before the broadcast, it's going to be a lot easier to deliver. The production level will be a lot simpler because you're already in the private group. So there's going to be a lot of material that's a lot more in depth, more highbrow, more educational. There's going to be accountability. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be prizes, little contests, things like that. So you can be accountable. So you can be held accountable to others, to your peers. You have a place to go for information where you're not going to get bullshitted. You're going to post questions. We'll get answers. I'll post out questions, polls, all sorts of different types of things that are going to help you get the answers that you need directly. Because I get a lot of questions, and what's the point of having 10 questions from 10 different people? Let's get this all in one location so you guys can get the answers directly for what you need specifically. So the Daily Swole, Driving While Gaining, all those are going to stay the same. My regular post, my regular material is not going anywhere. This is going to be more in-depth, more specific, more exclusive, just more value, because there's a lot more stuff that I can bring, and this is going to be the perfect venue for me to deliver that. So go to my website, Swolenormous.com. If you have any issues, let me know. Click on Premium. You can click on the link at the bottom of the webpage. It's a very simple webpage. I gutted it, so it's just directed towards getting you access to the Premium membership. So once you sign up, you're going to get an email to that email, to your PayPal email. I'm going to try adding you to the Facebook group. If that's not the same email you use for Facebook, I'm going to need that email, so we'll cross that bridge if it comes to it. But you'll be added to the group immediately. You'll have access to download the Facebook, the ebook right away. And all that stuff is going to be up full-blown today. So if you get added to the Facebook group, but you don't see the ebook right away, it will be up today. I literally just launched it, and I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait to start posting content. I'm not going to wait to get people in there. Get in there right away, cancel anytime, but you're not going to want to, because you're going to get so much content all the time, and it's just going to build, and it's just going to grow. So this is huge, and it's going to be really specific and great at the beginning, because at the beginning, obviously there's going to be less people in there at the beginning. This thing's going to blow up pretty quick. So you get in now, and if you have questions and communication, we'll get all that stuff out there now, and you get more specific answers to your questions, especially now when it's early. But the more people in there, the better, because just as well as I do, when you're on these live broadcasts and when you see comments on YouTube and Facebook, that a lot of you have the same questions. And a lot of you have questions that the other person might be like, oh, I never thought to ask that. So you're going to get a lot more information specific to the problems and the challenges that you have in your life. So it's kind of like a running Q&A, but it's one form, one location, and everyone's got Facebook, and everyone's got $4.99 a month to spare for some awesome content. So I look forward to seeing you there. Swolenormous.com, Facebook Premium, sign up today, launching today. It's already there. You'll be added today. You'll have access to the ebook and all those great things today. Oi, now. I will see you tomorrow. Episode 46 tomorrow of the Daily Mother Swole. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on Facebook, Swolenormous Premium. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching on BUSKER and Periscope. Shout out to my SoundCloud homies, iTunes, Stitcher. Did I miss anyone? Anyone else that's watching somewhere, maybe on some mythical platform, the only one that I'm not on in this world. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you guys on Facebook on Swolenormous Premium later today. Talk to you soon. See you mañana, 12 noon Eastern Time. Peace out.